Eleanor's knees hit frozen platform wood. The train's whistle faded into white. Nothing carrying her future north without her. Copper Ridge, her intended husband, her only escape. Gone. She pressed both palms against the snow, too cold to cry, too broken to stand. 50 miles from a man expecting a bride. 3 days until another train. No money, no shelter, no hope. Then a small voice cut through the silence. "Papa, why is the lady crying in the snow?" Subscribe to our channel and follow Eleanor's journey to the very end. Comment your city below. I want to see how far this story travels. Wyoming Territory, December 1877. The station master's window stayed dark. Eleanor pressed her face against the glass, cupping her hands to block the glare. "Hello, anyone?" Nothing. Not a lamp. Not a shadow. Not a soul. She turned back to the empty platform. Snow fell thick and heavy, erasing the tracks where her train had vanished moments ago. Her carpetbag sat where she'd dropped it, already dusting white. Pine Hollow, the sign read, not Copper Ridge. Eleanor pulled the crumpled letter from her coat pocket, hands shaking. The words blurred through frozen tears. "Dear Miss Sinclair, I await your arrival on December 22nd. The afternoon train. I shall meet you personally at Copper Ridge Station. Your intended husband, Harold Mercer. December 22nd. Today." But she'd fallen asleep, missed the conductor's call, woke to the wrong name on a weather-beaten sign. "Ma'am." Eleanor spun toward the voice. A man stood beside a freight wagon at the platform's edge. Broad shoulders beneath a worn sheepskin coat, face half hidden by his hat brim. Behind him, a small figure huddled on the wagon seat. "Station's closed," he said. His tone carried no warmth. "Peterson went to Silver Creek for the holiday. Won't be back till after Christmas." Eleanor's throat tightened. "When's the next train?" "Depends on the snow. Could be the 27th. Could be longer. 5 days, maybe more." "Is there—" Her voice cracked. "Is there a hotel? A boarding house?" The man's jaw shifted. "Pine Hollow's got 23 residents, ma'am. No hotel, no boarding house. Pastor Williams might take you in, but he's visiting his sister in Laramie." Eleanor's knees threatened to buckle. She gripped the platform railing. "Papa." The small voice came from the wagon. Eleanor looked up to see a girl no more than 7 climbing down with careful, deliberate movements. Her mittened hands found the wheel spoke, then the step, then the frozen ground. The girl's head tilted, listening rather than looking. "Papa, why is the lady crying?" Eleanor touched her cheek. Wet. She hadn't realized. The man moved quickly, placing himself between his daughter and Eleanor. Protective, guarded. "She's not crying, Lily. She's just cold." "She is crying." Lily stepped around her father with the practiced ease of someone who'd learned to navigate without sight. "I can hear it in her breathing. And she's scared. I can hear that too." The girl reached out small fingers, finding Eleanor's sleeve with unsettling accuracy. "Don't be scared, miss. Papa looks mean, but he's not. He's just sad all the time." "Lily." The man's voice held warning. "That's enough." "What's your name?" Lily asked, ignoring him completely. Eleanor knelt in the snow, bringing herself level with the child's unfocused gaze. Up close, she could see the cloudiness in Lily's eyes, the slight difference in how they tracked. "Eleanor," she said softly. "Eleanor Sinclair." Lily's face brightened. "That's pretty. Like a song." "Lily Rose Holloway." The man cut in. "We need to get home before this storm gets worse." But Lily didn't move. Her small hand traveled from Eleanor's sleeve to her wrist, then to her palm. Cold fingers traced the lines there as if reading a map. "You're lost," Lily said. It wasn't a question. "Yes, sweetheart. I got off at the wrong station. I was supposed to be— God sent you here." Eleanor's breath caught. "That's what Mama used to say." Lily's voice dropped to a whisper. When something bad happens, maybe it's God sending you somewhere better. Maybe he sent you to us. The man Holloway made a sound low in his throat, pain disguised as impatience. Lily, wagon, now. But Papa, now. Lily's face crumpled. She released Eleanor's hand and turned navigating back to the wagon with shoulders hunched against more than cold. Eleanor stood slowly, snow soaking through her thin dress. Holloway stared at her for a long moment. His eyes held something she recognized, the hollow look of a man who'd buried more than his share of hope. I can't help you, he said flatly. I'm not asking you to. Good. He turned toward the wagon. I'm asking you to tell me where I can find shelter that won't kill me before morning. He stopped. His back stayed rigid, but his hands clenched at his sides. Eleanor pressed on, pride burning in her throat. I have 17 cents. I have a carpet bag with one good dress and my mother's Bible. I have no family within 1,000 miles, and the man who was supposed to marry me is waiting in a town I can't reach. She drew a shaking breath. I am not asking for charity, Mr. Holloway. I am asking for information. If there is a barn, a shed anywhere I can survive until the next train, I would be grateful for the direction. Silence stretched between them. Snow fell harder. From the wagon, Lily's voice carried thin and clear. Papa, please. Holloway's shoulders dropped, just slightly, just enough. My housekeeper left this morning, he said without turning. Visiting family for Christmas. I need someone to cook, clean, mind my daughter while I work the horses. He finally looked at her. His eyes were winter gray, guarded as a locked door. $2 a day, room and board. When the train comes, I'll pay your fare to wherever you're going. Transaction, not charity. Eleanor understood the distinction and appreciated it. I accept. Holloway nodded once, sharp and final. Get in the wagon. The ride to Holloway Ranch took 40 minutes through deepening snow. Eleanor sat on the wagon bench beside Lily, who pressed close against her side despite having just met her. Are you warm enough? Lily asked for the third time. Papa has extra blankets behind the seat. I'm fine, sweetheart. You're shivering. Eleanor couldn't argue with that. Her Boston coat wasn't built for Wyoming winters. Holloway drove in silence, jaw-set, eyes fixed on the white road ahead. He hadn't spoken since the station. Miss Eleanor, Lily tugged her sleeve. Yes. What were you doing on that train before you got lost? Eleanor hesitated. I was going to meet someone. Who? Lily. Holloway's voice cut sharp. Don't pry. It's all right, Eleanor said quietly. I was going to meet a man named Harold Mercer in Copper Ridge. Lily's brow furrowed. Why? Because I answered his advertisement. He needed a wife. I needed... Eleanor stopped. How did you explain desperation to a 7-year-old? A home? Lily finished. You needed a home. Eleanor's throat tightened. Yes. Do you love him? This Harold person. I've never met him. Lily went quiet. Her small hand found Eleanor's again, squeezing tight. That's sad, she finally said. Marrying someone you don't know, someone you don't love. Sometimes, Eleanor chose her words carefully. Sometimes we make choices because we don't have better ones. Papa says that's called making do. Lily's voice dropped. He makes do a lot, ever since Mama went to heaven. Holloway's hands jerked on the reins. The horses startled. Lily, enough. But his daughter continued as if she hadn't heard. Mama got real sick when the baby was coming. The doctor couldn't get here in time because of the snow. Papa blames himself. He thinks if he'd sent for the doctor sooner. Lily Rose Holloway. Holloway's voice could have frozen fire. One more word, and you'll spend Christmas Eve in your room. Lily fell silent, lower lip trembling. Eleanor placed her arm around the girl's thin shoulders and said nothing. But she understood now. The guarded eyes, the locked door expression, the way Holloway flinched when his daughter mentioned her mother. This man wasn't cold. He was frozen, preserved in grief like a body in winter ground. The house rose out of white prairie like a promise. 2 stories of solid timber wraparound porch smoke rising from a stone chimney. A barn stood nearby, large and well kept. Horses moved behind fenced corrals, their breath clouding the air. Prosperous. That was Eleanor's first thought. Lonely. That was her second. A man emerged from the barn as the wagon approached. 60-some years weathered as old leather, bow-legged from decades in the saddle. He caught the horses' bridles and steadied them. "That was quick, boss." His voice carried the rasp of too many harsh winters. "Thought you'd be gone." He stopped when he saw Eleanor. "Well now, who's this Miss Sinclair?" Holloway climbed down. "She'll be helping while Mrs. Patterson's away." The old man's eyebrows rose. "Helping? Cooking, cleaning, minding Lily?" "Uh-huh." The old man's weathered face split into a knowing grin. "I'm Silas Crawford, ma'am. Folks call me Old Silas on account of I've been old since I was 40. Eleanor Sinclair." She managed a small smile. "Thank you for the welcome, Mr. Crawford." "Just Silas, ma'am. Mr. Crawford was my pa, and he was a meaner cuss than a rattlesnake with a toothache." Lily giggled from the wagon. "Silas has the best stories, Miss Eleanor. He used to be a scout for the army. He's killed 11 men. 12, Silas corrected. "But who's counting?" "Get Miss Sinclair's bag," Holloway interrupted. "Show her to the spare room." He lifted Lily from the wagon and set her on the ground with surprising gentleness. The girl's hand immediately found his gripping tight. "Papa will Miss Eleanor eat supper with us." "That's her job, ain't it? Cooking supper?" "No, I mean eat with us. At the table. Like family." Holloway's jaw worked. Something flickered in his eyes, pain, longing, fear, then vanished. "We'll see." He walked toward the barn, Lily's hand still clasped in his, leaving Eleanor standing in the snow. Silas appeared at her elbow, carpetbag in hand. "Don't mind him, ma'am." His voice dropped low. "Mr. Holloway's been dead inside since his wife passed. 4 years now. Still can't talk about her without breaking." Lily mentioned. "That little girl's the only thing keeping him tethered to this earth." Silas shook his head. "She lost her sight 2 years back. Scarlet fever. Mr. Holloway nearly lost his mind. Thought God was punishing him for something." Eleanor watched father and daughter disappear into the barn, Lily's small form pressed close against Holloway's leg. "What happened to his wife?" Silas's face softened with old sorrow. "Childbirth. Lost both her and the baby. Mr. Holloway was holding her hand when she went. Hasn't let anyone close since." He handed Eleanor her bag. "Come on, ma'am. Let's get you inside before you freeze solid." The house swallowed sound. Eleanor's footsteps echoed on polished floors, where laughter should have lived, but didn't. Silas gave her a brief tour. Kitchen, pantry, sitting room, your room upstairs. Each space held expensive furniture. Velvet chairs, carved tables, oil lamps with crystal chimneys, but dust covered everything. The curtains stayed drawn. A Christmas tree stood in the corner of the sitting room, decorated with care, but radiating loneliness. Paper angels and dried apple slices hung from its branches. A wooden star crowned the top. "Lily decorated it herself," Silas said, noticing Eleanor's gaze. "Took her 3 days. Mr. Holloway couldn't say no." On the mantel above the cold fireplace, a photograph in a silver frame caught the light. A woman with Lily's delicate features and Holloway's stubborn chin smiled out at Eleanor. Beside her stood a younger Marcus Holloway, his arm around her waist, his face alight with a joy so foreign to his current expression that Eleanor barely recognized him. "That's Rebecca," Silas said quietly. "Mrs. Holloway, prettiest woman in the territory, voice like a songbird. She used to sing while she cooked, while she cleaned, while she did just about everything. He paused. Mr. Holloway can't hear music anymore without falling apart. Eleanor touched the frame gently. She was beautiful. Inside and out. Silas cleared his throat roughly. Your room's up the stairs, first door on the left. There's fresh water in the pitcher. Supper's usually at 6, but seeing as how you're the one cooking, I'll manage. Silas hesitated at the kitchen door. Ma'am, I've been with this family 15 years. Watched Mr. Holloway grow from a headstrong boy to a good man. Watched him fall in love, build this place, lose everything he cared about except that little girl. He met Eleanor's eyes. I ain't seen him let a stranger into this house since Rebecca died. Not once. Not for any reason. I'm not a stranger. I'm hired help. You're a woman. Silas's gaze held steady. In his wife's house, near his daughter. That means something whether he admits it or not. He touched his hat brim and walked out, leaving Eleanor alone with the silence. Odd. The kitchen held Mrs. Patterson's presence like a ghost. Notes in neat handwriting covered the table schedules. Recipes, instructions. One page caught Eleanor's eye. Mr. Holloway eats alone in his study most nights. He says it's easier. But Lily eats alone in the kitchen, and that child needs family around a table, not solitude and cold plates. If you can manage it, make them eat together. Make them remember they're still alive. Eleanor's fingers tightened on the paper. Mrs. Patterson. She turned to find Lily in the doorway, head tilted, listening. No, sweetheart. It's Miss Eleanor. Lily's face brightened. You found the kitchen. I did. Can I help you make supper? Eleanor looked at the cluttered workspace, the cold stove, her own numb hands. I'd like that very much. Lily navigated the kitchen with confidence, touching counters and chairbacks to orient herself. She found the pantry by counting steps, located the flour bin, by height pulled eggs from a basket by weight. Mrs. Patterson taught me, she explained. Before she came, I just sat in my room all day. Papa didn't know what to do with me after I went blind. That must have been hard. I was scared at first. Lily cracked an egg with practiced precision. Everything was dark and I kept bumping into things, and Papa would get so upset when I fell. Upset? Not angry. Sad. Lily's small hands worked the dough. He'd pick me up and hold me so tight I could hardly breathe. Then he'd go away for a while and not come back till morning. Eleanor's chest ached. Where did he go? To the barn, to Mama's grave. I don't know. Lily shrugged. Silas says Papa's got too much grief for one heart. It keeps spilling out when he's not looking. They worked in silence for a while. Eleanor found rhythm in the simple tasks: kneading bread, peeling potatoes, stoking the stove. Her hands knew this work from childhood on her father's farm before Boston, before everything changed. Miss Eleanor. Yes, sweetheart. Why did you need to marry someone you never met? Eleanor's hands stilled on the bread dough. Because I didn't have anywhere else to go. What about your family? My father died. My mother remarried. Eleanor pushed the dough harder than necessary. Her new husband didn't want me there. Why not? Because I reminded her of the life she had before him. Because I asked too many questions. Because... Eleanor stopped herself. This wasn't a conversation for a 7-year-old. It doesn't matter, sweetheart. I answered an advertisement, and now I'm here. Lily was quiet for a moment. Then her small hand found Eleanor's flour-dusted wrist. I'm glad you got off at the wrong station. Eleanor's eyes burned. Lily. I prayed for someone, the girl whispered. Every night since Mama left, I prayed God would send us someone who needed us as much as we needed her. Sweetheart, I'm only here until the train comes. Then I have to go to Copper Ridge. But what if you're supposed to be here? I made a promise to Mr. Mercer. Lily's grip tightened. Did you love him when you made that promise? No. Then it doesn't count. Eleanor gently freed her hand. That's not how promises work. That's exactly how they work. Lily's voice carried certainty beyond her years. Promises made without love are just words. Mama told me that. She said the only promises that matter are the ones your heart makes. Lily. Your heart didn't promise him anything, Miss Eleanor. The girl's unseeing eyes somehow found Eleanor's face with uncanny accuracy. I can hear it when you talk about him. Your heart stays quiet. But when you talk to me, when you're here in this kitchen, your heart sounds different. Eleanor couldn't speak. It sounds like it's waking up. Supper was simple. Bread stew, apple pie from dried fruit Eleanor found in the pantry. Not fancy, but warm and filling. Holloway appeared at 6 tracking snow across the clean floor. He stopped when he saw the table set for 3. What's this? Supper. Eleanor kept her voice neutral. For all of us. I eat in my study. Not tonight. His eyes narrowed. Miss Sinclair. Lily helped me cook. Eleanor met his gaze steadily. She worked hard. She's proud. You can either sit down and eat with your daughter, or you can explain to her why her effort doesn't matter. Holloway's jaw clenched. For a moment, Eleanor thought he'd storm out. Then Lily appeared from the sitting room, face hopeful. Papa, are you eating with us? The anger drained from Holloway's posture. Something else replaced it. Exhaustion. Surrender, a flicker of something that might have been gratitude. Yeah, Rosebud. His voice came rough. I'm eating with you. He sat. Lily immediately climbed into the chair beside him, pressing close. Eleanor served the stew in silence. For 10 minutes only the clink of spoons and the crackle of fire filled the room. Then Lily began to talk about the Christmas tree, about the horses, about how old Silas had promised to tell her the story of his 12th kill. Holloway listened. Occasionally he even responded. His voice stayed low-guarded, but Eleanor caught the way his hand found Lily's under the table, the way his shoulders gradually relaxed. Papa, Lily said, as Eleanor cleared the plates. Can Miss Eleanor read to me tonight? From Mama's book. Holloway went still. What book? The one in your room. The one Mama used to read me every night. I know where it is. Mrs. Patterson said I shouldn't ask, but... No. The word fell like a door slamming. Lily's face crumpled. But Papa... I said no. Holloway stood abruptly, chair scraping against the floor. That book stays where it is. He strode out, boot steps heavy on the stairs. Lily sat, frozen tears sliding down her cheeks. Eleanor knelt beside her chair. Sweetheart, he won't let me have anything of hers. Lily's voice broke. I can't see her picture anymore. I can't remember her face. All I have is the sound of her voice reading that book, and he won't... She dissolved into sobs. Eleanor gathered the girl into her arms, holding tight as small shoulders shook with 4 years of accumulated grief. I just want to remember her, Lily whispered against Eleanor's shoulder. I'm scared I'm forgetting. Eleanor closed her eyes. Upstairs she heard footsteps, pace, pause, pace again. A man wrestling with ghosts he couldn't release. You won't forget, she murmured into Lily's hair. I promise you won't forget. But even as she spoke the words, she wondered if that was a promise she could keep. Later, after Lily had cried herself to sleep in Eleanor's arms, Eleanor carried the girl to bed. The child's room was sparse but neat. A narrow bed, a worn quilt, a rag doll on the pillow. Eleanor tucked her in, brushing hair from Lily's tear-stained face. Mama. The word was sleepy, instinctive, heartbreaking. No, sweetheart, it's Eleanor. Lily's eyes didn't open, but her hand found Eleanor's. Stay, please. I'm here. Promise you won't leave without saying goodbye. Eleanor's throat closed. I promise. Lily's grip loosened as sleep claimed her. Eleanor stayed for a long moment, watching the girl breathe, feeling the weight of a responsibility she hadn't asked for. She'd come west, seeking a future with a stranger. Instead, she'd found 2 broken hearts desperately needing what she had to give. The question was whether she had the courage to give it. Sounds. In the hallway, a floorboard creaked. Eleanor turned to find Holloway standing in shadow, watching. "She's asleep," Eleanor said quietly. He nodded once. His face was unreadable in the dim lamplight. "That book she mentioned," he said after a long pause. "It was my wife's. Rebecca read it to Lily every night." "I understand." "No, you don't." His voice cracked just slightly. "I can't open that book without hearing her voice. I can't touch anything of hers without—" He stopped, swallowed hard. "Mr. Holloway, Lily's all I have left." The words came raw, desperate. "If I let her get attached to you, if I let her start hoping again, and then you leave, I know. She won't survive it." Eleanor held his gaze. "Neither will you." Silence stretched between them. "I'm leaving when the train comes," Eleanor said finally. "I have a promise to keep in Copper Ridge. But while I'm here, your daughter deserves more than a father who's already buried himself beside his wife." Holloway's face contorted, rage, grief, recognition all warring across his features. "You don't know anything about me." "I know you're terrified." Eleanor's voice stayed steady. "I know you've convinced yourself that loving again means losing again. I know you think keeping everyone at arm's length will protect Lily from pain." She stepped closer. "But Mr. Holloway, your daughter isn't afraid of losing people. She's afraid her father already left her. She just can't see him leave because she can't see anything anymore." The words landed like blows. Holloway staggered back a half step. She needs you alive, not just breathing, alive." Eleanor turned toward her room. "Good night, Mr. Holloway." She felt his eyes on her back all the way down the hall. Behind her, she heard him lean against the wall, heard the ragged intake of breath, heard very faintly a sound that might have been a sob. Eleanor closed her door and pressed her back against it. 3 days until the train. 3 days with this broken family. She had a terrible feeling 3 days wouldn't be nearly enough. Sometimes God puts you on the wrong road, so you'll find the right one. Eleanor's father said that. She'd thought he was talking about geography. She was beginning to wonder if he'd meant something else entirely. Dawn came slow and gray. Eleanor woke before first light habit carved into her bones from years on her father's farm. She lay still for a moment listening to the unfamiliar house settle around her. Then she heard it. Singing. Faint, wavering, heartbreakingly off-key. Coming from downstairs. Eleanor pulled on her dress and followed the sound to the kitchen. She stopped in the doorway, breath-catching. Lily stood at the counter, small hands moving through flour, humming a melody that seemed to hurt as much as it healed. The girl's nightgown was dusted white. Her braids had come loose during the night. "That's a beautiful song," Eleanor said softly. Lily startled, then relaxed. "You walk quiet, like Mama did." "What song is that?" "Amazing Grace." Lily's hands stilled in the flour. "Mama sang it every morning while she made breakfast. Papa used to sing with her. His voice is deeper, like thunder far away." "Does he still sing?" "No." Lily's voice dropped. "He stopped the day she died. I asked him once to sing with me. He left the house and didn't come back for 2 days." Eleanor crossed to the counter. "What are you making, say, biscuits? Mrs. Patterson showed me how." Lily's chin lifted with pride. "I can make them by myself. I count the ingredients and feel when the dough is right." "That's remarkable." "Papa says I'm stubborn." A small smile flickered. "Mama said stubborn just means you don't give up easy." They worked together in comfortable silence. Eleanor found herself watching Lily's hands, so small, so capable, navigating a world of darkness with fierce determination. "Miss Eleanor." "Yes." "Can I touch your face?" Eleanor knelt down. "Of course." Lily's flour-dusted fingers found Eleanor's cheeks, her nose, her forehead. They traced the shape of her jaw, the curve of her lips, the lines at the corners of her eyes. "You're pretty," Lily decided. Different pretty than Mama. She had round cheeks and a pointy chin. You have sharp cheeks and a soft chin. How do you remember her face so well? I touched it every day. Lily's voice cracked. Before she went to heaven, I asked her to let me memorize her. She cried the whole time, but she let me. Papa watched from the doorway. He was crying too. Eleanor's chest ached. That was very brave of you both. I'm forgetting anyway. A tear slid down Lily's cheek. Her voice is getting quieter in my memory. Her laugh sounds different than it used to. Sometimes I dream about her, and when I wake up, I can't remember what she looked like in the dream. Eleanor pulled the girl into her arms. Lily. That's why I wanted the book. Lily clung tight. When she read to me, her voice was so clear, so real. If I could just hear those words again, maybe I could remember. What book is it? Little Women. It was her favorite. She read me a chapter every night. We were almost finished when Lily's voice broke. When she got too sick to read. Eleanor held her closer. Do you remember where you stopped? Chapter 46. Beth was dying. Lily laughed, but it came out like a sob. Mama said she was sorry to read me something so sad, but I told her it was okay because Beth was going somewhere beautiful. I didn't know Mama was going to the same place. The kitchen door opened. Holloway stood in the threshold, snow dusting his shoulders, face unreadable. His eyes moved from Eleanor to his daughter, to Eleanor again. Papa! Lily pulled away, hastily wiping her face. Miss Eleanor and I are making biscuits. Are you hungry? Holloway's jaw worked. Silas needs me in the barn. Storm's coming. I wanted to make sure you were... He stopped. His gaze had caught on something, Lily's tear-stained cheeks. Eleanor's protective posture, the way his daughter stood straighter in the presence of someone who listened. I'm fine, Papa. Lily's voice held false brightness. Go help Silas. Holloway didn't move. Something shifted in his expression, a crack in the stone facade. Eleanor. It was the first time he'd used her given name. Yes. After breakfast. I need to speak with you. He left before she could respond. Lily tilted her head. He called you Eleanor, not Miss Sinclair. He did. Mama always said Papa's heart speaks through his words, even when he doesn't mean it to. Lily smiled small and knowing. His heart knows your name. Eleanor didn't know how to respond to that. The biscuits burned slightly. Nobody cared. After breakfast, Eleanor found Holloway in his study. The room was sparse, a desk piled with papers, a leather chair worn smooth with use, and on the wall another photograph of Rebecca. Close the door, Holloway said without looking up. Eleanor obeyed. You wanted to speak with me. He sat behind his desk, fingers steepled wrestling with words that didn't want to come. Last night, he finally said. What you said about Lily, about her needing me alive, not just breathing. I spoke out of turn. I apologize. No. His voice came rough. You spoke the truth. I've spent 4 years convincing myself that keeping distance would protect her, protect us both. He looked up. His eyes held exhaustion so deep it seemed carved into his soul. But she's slipping away from me anyway, isn't she? Eleanor chose her words carefully. She's not slipping away, she's reaching for you. But every time she reaches, you pull back. Because I can't. He stopped, swallowed. I can't lose her too. Mr. Holloway. Marcus. He said it like a confession. My name is Marcus. Marcus. Eleanor moved closer. Your daughter isn't fragile. She's the strongest child I've ever met. But strength doesn't mean she doesn't need her father. I don't know how to be her father anymore. The words came raw, desperate. I knew how to be Rebecca's husband. I knew how to be the man who built this ranch, who dreamed of a future. But that man died when she did. He didn't die. He's just hiding. Marcus laughed a harsh, broken sound. You've known me 2 days. I've known grief my whole life. Eleanor met his eyes steadily. My father was the center of my world. When he died, I thought I'd never breathe again without pain. My mother chose to bury her grief in a new husband rather than face it. I chose to run west to a stranger because I couldn't face it either. She sat in the chair across from his desk. We're the same, Marcus. Both of us running from ghosts. Both of us terrified that loving again means losing again. Silence stretched between them. How do you stop being afraid? His voice was barely a whisper. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. Eleanor's hands twisted in her lap. But I know this Lily deserves a father who tries, even if trying hurts. Marcus stared at her for a long moment. Then he reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a worn leather book. Little Women. His hand trembled as he held it. Rebecca's copy. She read it to Lily every night. Eleanor's breath caught. Marcus. I can't read it to her. His voice cracked. I've tried. I open the cover, and I hear Rebecca's voice, and I... He pressed the book toward Eleanor. You read it. Tonight. Please. Eleanor took the book. The leather was soft with use. The spine cracked from countless readings. Inside the front cover, elegant handwriting read, For my darling Lily Rose, may you always find wonder in words. Love, Mama. Chapter 46. Eleanor said quietly. That's where they stopped. You know. Lily told me. Something shifted in Marcus's face, gratitude, pain, the beginnings of trust. She talks to you. She needs someone to talk to. Marcus nodded slowly. He looked down at his hands, calloused from years of work, empty of everything that mattered. I had a telegram this morning. From Vernon Kincaid. The name hung in the air like a threat. Who is Vernon Kincaid? Banker from Cheyenne. He holds the note on this ranch. Marcus's jaw tightened. I borrowed money 3 years ago. After Rebecca died, after Lily got sick, the medical bills. He stopped. I couldn't keep up with payments. How much do you owe? $800, due by the new year. Eleanor's stomach dropped. That's less than 2 weeks. I know. Marcus pushed back from his desk. I've got 30 horses ready to sell to the army. Contracts signed, deliveries set for December 28th. If the money comes through, I can pay Kincaid. If it doesn't, you lose the ranch. I lose everything. The weight of it settled over Eleanor like snow. This wasn't just a grieving family. This was a family on the edge of ruin. Why are you telling me this? Marcus met her eyes. Because Kincaid's coming tomorrow, to inspect the property, he says, to remind me what he's owed. You want me to be here when he comes? No. Marcus's voice hardened. I want you to take Lily somewhere else. Churchtown, anywhere. She doesn't need to see... He stopped. To see what? Kincaid doesn't believe I can make the payment. He's already got buyers lined up for the land. He'll say things, do things, try to break me. Eleanor stood. And you don't want Lily to see her father broken. Marcus flinched. Maybe, Eleanor said quietly. She should see her father fight instead. She left before he could respond. Rebecca's book clutched against her chest like a shield. Noon brought watery sunlight and Silas stomping into the kitchen with an armload of firewood. Storm's holding off, he announced. Might get lucky. Eleanor looked up from the bread she was kneading. How bad do storms get here? Bad enough to kill a man if he's stupid. Silas dumped the wood by the stove. I've seen blizzards bury whole herds. Seen men freeze standing up because they couldn't find their way home. Cheerful thought. Silas grinned, gap-toothed and genuine. Just making sure you know what you signed up for, ma'am. I signed up for cooking and cleaning, not freezing to death. Out here, everything's connected. Silas settled into a chair with a groan. Ranch work, weather, life, death. You learn to read the signs, or you don't last. Eleanor shaped the dough into loaves. How long have you been with the Holloways? 15 years. Hired on when Marcus was 20, fresh from back east, convinced he could build an empire. Silas chuckled. Stubborn kid. Didn't know a stallion from a gelding. But he learned, worked harder than any man I'd ever seen. And Rebecca. Silas's smile faded. She came along 3 years later. Mail-order bride from Virginia. Prettiest thing I'd ever seen. Marcus took one look at her and forgot how to breathe. Love at first sight. Nah, more like recognition. Silas leaned back. Like he'd been waiting for her his whole life and didn't know it till she stepped off that train. Eleanor's hands stilled on the dough. She changed him, Silas continued. Softened his edges, made him laugh, made him dream of things beyond just surviving. His voice roughened. Then she was gone, and all those soft edges turned to stone. He told me about Kincaid. Silas's expression darkened. That vulture's been circling since Rebecca's funeral. Knows Marcus is barely holding on. Knows one bad season could finish him. Will the army payment come through? Should, but should ain't the same as will. Silas stood, joints popping. If you're smart, ma'am, you'll be on that train when it comes. This family's got more trouble than any one person can fix. He walked out, leaving Eleanor alone with rising dough and sinking hope. That evening, Eleanor found Lily in the sitting room, curled in a chair near the Christmas tree. Miss Eleanor. Lily's head turned toward the sound of footsteps. Is that you? It's me. Eleanor sat beside her. I have something for you. She placed the book in Lily's lap. Lily's fingers found the cover, traced the familiar leather. Her breath caught. Mama's book. Her voice trembled. Papa let you. He asked me to read it to you, if you want. Lily clutched the book against her chest, tears streaming. I prayed for this. I prayed and prayed and... I know, sweetheart. Chapter 46. Chapter 46. Eleanor opened the book with reverent hands. The pages were soft, some corners dog-eared, some passages underlined in faded pencil. Rebecca's marginalia appeared throughout, little notes, little reactions, little pieces of a woman Eleanor would never meet. My Beth. Eleanor began reading, her voice steady, despite the lump in her throat. Lily listened with her whole body. Her hands gripped the chair arms. Her face tilted toward Eleanor's voice like a flower toward sun. The chapter was about death, about loss, about the terrible beauty of letting go. When Eleanor finished, Lily was sobbing silently. Mama cried at this part too, she whispered. She said Beth reminded her of her little sister who died of fever when Mama was 12. Did she? Her name was Mary. Mama said Mary was the kindest person she'd ever known. She said, Lily's voice broke. She said she hoped heaven had lots of flowers because Mary loved flowers. Eleanor gathered the girl into her arms. They sat like that for a long time, book between them, grief shared. A floorboard creaked. Eleanor looked up to find Marcus in the doorway. His face was pale, eyes red-rimmed. How much did you hear? Eleanor asked quietly. Enough. His voice was barely audible. She never told me about Mary. Lily stirred in Eleanor's arms. Papa. Marcus crossed the room in 3 strides and dropped to his knees beside the chair. His arms wrapped around his daughter with desperate strength. I'm sorry, Rosebud. The words came broken. I'm sorry I couldn't read to you. I'm sorry I kept the book from you. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Lily's small hands found his face. Just stay. Please stay. I'm here. Marcus pressed his forehead to hers. I'm not going anywhere. Eleanor slipped from the room, leaving father and daughter to rebuild what grief had torn apart. In the hallway, she leaned against the wall and let her own tears fall. Morning came with hoofbeats. Eleanor heard them first, the sharp rhythm of a horse ridden hard approaching fast. She moved to the window as a figure emerged from the gray dawn. Vernon Kincaid didn't look like a villain. That was the worst part. He was handsome in a polished way, clean-shaven, well-dressed smile, ready beneath calculating eyes. He dismounted with the ease of a man who owned the ground he walked on. Marcus met him on the porch. Eleanor watched through the window, Lily pressed against her side. "Who's here?" Lily whispered. "A man named Kincaid." Lily stiffened. Mrs. Patterson called him a snake in a Sunday suit. Mrs. Patterson sounds like a wise woman. Outside, voices rose. Eleanor couldn't hear the words, but she could read the postures, Marcus rigid with barely contained anger, Kincaid expansive with false friendliness. Then Kincaid's eyes found the window, found Eleanor. His smile widened. "Who's that Holloway?" His voice carried clearly now. "New housekeeper. Or something more interesting?" Marcus stepped between Kincaid and the house. "She's none of your concern." "Everything on this property is my concern." Kincaid's tone hardened. "Until you pay what you owe, this ranch is mine in all but name. I'll have your money by the new year." "Will you?" Kincaid pulled a folded paper from his coat. "Because I've got a telegram here saying the Army's delayed their inspection. Some trouble up north. Your horses might not sell until February." Eleanor's heart sank. Marcus went very still. "You're lying." "Am I?" Kincaid handed him the paper. "Check for yourself." Even from the window, Eleanor could see Marcus's face drain of color as he read. "Unfortunate timing." Kincaid didn't bother hiding his satisfaction. "Of course I could extend your deadline. Another month, maybe 2, for the right consideration." "What consideration?" Kincaid glanced at the window again. His smile made Eleanor's skin crawl. "Let's discuss it inside. Over coffee. I'm sure your new housekeeper makes excellent coffee." Marcus's hands clenched into fists. "Get off my property." "Now, Marcus." "I said get off." Marcus stepped forward, violence coiled in every muscle. "You'll have your money by the new year, or you'll have the ranch. But you will never set foot inside my home." Kincaid's smile vanished. "You're making a mistake, Holloway. I'm trying to help you." "You're trying to bury me. There's a difference." Silence stretched. Then Kincaid remounted his horse. "You've got 12 days. His voice carried ice. 12 days to find $800 that don't exist. I'll be back on January 1st. And when I take this ranch..." His eyes found the window one last time. "I'll take everything in it." He rode away. Marcus stood on the porch for a long time after unmoving. Eleanor turned from the window. Lily's face was pale. "Is Papa going to lose the ranch?" "No." Eleanor's voice held more certainty than she felt. "Your father is going to find a way." "How do you know?" Eleanor knelt beside her. "Because he has something worth fighting for." Lily's small hand found Eleanor's. "You mean me?" "I mean both of you." That night, Eleanor found Marcus in the barn. He sat on an overturned crate, surrounded by horses, staring at nothing. A bottle of whiskey sat untouched beside him. "Drinking won't help," Eleanor said from the doorway. "I haven't touched it." His voice was hollow. "I just like knowing it's there, knowing I could." She crossed to him, settled on another crate. "How bad is it?" "Bad." Marcus laughed, but the sound held no humor. "Army's delayed. Without that sale, I've got maybe $300, half what I owe." "What about the other horses, other buyers?" "Takes time. Time I don't have." He picked up the whiskey bottle, turned it in his hands. "I built this place with my own hands. Every fence post, every floorboard. Rebecca and we had plans. A dynasty, she called it. Holloway's raising horses for 100 years. That dream doesn't have to die. It's already dead." Marcus set the bottle down. "Just like everything else I've touched." "Stop it!" Eleanor's voice came sharp. "Stop wallowing." His head snapped up. "Excuse me." "You heard me?" She stood, frustration burning. "Your wife died. Your daughter went blind. Your ranch is failing. Yes, it's terrible. Yes, it's unfair. But you're still here. Lily's still here. And every moment you spend feeling sorry for yourself is a moment you're not fighting. What would you have me do? Marcus rose, towering over her. Conjure money from thin air. Pray for a miracle. I'd have you stop giving up before the battle's finished. They stood inches apart, anger crackling between them. You don't understand, Marcus said through gritted teeth. You don't know what it's like to lose everything. I lost my father. I lost my home. I lost my future. Eleanor didn't back down. I got on a train to marry a stranger because I had nothing left. Don't tell me I don't understand. Marcus's anger flickered. Something else took its place. Recognition, shame, a desperate kind of hope. What if I can't save it? His voice dropped to a whisper. What if I lose Lily's home? Then you build her a new one. That's what fathers do. Silence fell. The horses shifted in their stalls. Outside, wind howled against the barn walls. I'm scared, Marcus admitted. Not of losing the ranch. Of losing her faith in me. Eleanor's anger softened. She already believes in you. That's not going to change because of money. How do you know? Because I've seen how she talks about you, how she reaches for you, how she prays for you every night. Eleanor touched his arm. She doesn't need a successful rancher, Marcus. She needs her father. Marcus looked at her hand on his arm, then at her face. Why do you care? The question came raw, genuine. You'll be gone in a few days. None of this is your burden. Because your daughter asked God for help. Eleanor's voice caught. And for some reason, he sent me. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I know I can't walk away without trying. Marcus's hand covered hers. Stay. The word hung between them. I can't. Eleanor pulled back. There's a man in Copper Ridge. A man you don't love. That doesn't matter. It matters more than anything. Marcus stepped closer. You said it yourself, we're the same. Both running from ghosts. Both terrified of hoping. Marcus, stay through Christmas. That's all I'm asking. His eyes held hers, vulnerable and desperate. Help me figure out how to save this place. Help me remember how to be Lily's father. Then if you still want to leave, I have to leave. Do you? Eleanor couldn't answer. Outside, the wind screamed. Inside, something shifted between them, a wall beginning to crumble, a door starting to open. I'll stay through Christmas, Eleanor finally said. But then we'll see. He released her hand and walked out of the barn. Eleanor stood alone, heart pounding, wondering what she'd just agreed to. Wondering if she'd just made the best decision of her life, or the worst. In her pocket, the letter from Harold Mercer burned like accusation. She pulled it out, stared at the careful handwriting. I await your arrival. Your intended husband. Somewhere in Copper Ridge, a man she'd never met was waiting. Here in Pine Hollow, a man she was beginning to know was asking her to stay. Eleanor pressed the letter to her chest and closed her eyes. What am I supposed to do? She whispered to the empty barn. The horses offered no answers. Neither did the wind. Neither did her heart. But somewhere in that silence, a choice was forming. And Eleanor knew with terrifying certainty that it would change everything. Christmas Eve morning arrived with a letter. Eleanor heard the rider before she saw him, hooves crunching through frozen ground, stopping at the porch. She wiped flour from her hands and opened the door. A young man in a postal uniform touched his cap. Miss Sinclair. Her stomach dropped. Yes. Telegram from Copper Ridge. Came through yesterday, but the lines were down. He handed her a folded paper. Merry Christmas, ma'am. He rode away before Eleanor could respond. She stood in the doorway, cold wind cutting through her dress, staring at her name written in official script. Who was that? Eleanor jumped. Lily stood behind her, head tilted. Just a messenger, sweetheart. What did he bring? Nothing important. The lie tasted bitter. Go finish your breakfast. Lily didn't move. You're scared. I can hear your heart beating fast. I'm fine. You're lying. Eleanor knelt down, tucking the telegram into her apron pocket. Some things are grown-up worries, Lily. You don't need to carry them. Mrs. Patterson used to say the same thing. Lily's small jaw set stubbornly. Right before she'd tell me anyway, because she knew I'd find out. Despite everything, Eleanor smiled. You're too smart for your own good. That's what Papa says. Lily reached for Eleanor's hand. Whatever that paper says, it won't change anything. You're supposed to be here. God told me. Eleanor's throat closed. Lily. Promise you won't leave without saying goodbye. I already promised. Promise again. Eleanor squeezed her hand. I promise. Lily nodded once satisfied and navigated back to the kitchen. Eleanor pulled out the telegram with trembling fingers. Miss Sinclair, stop concerned by your absence. Stop, train arrives. Copper Ridge, December 28th. Stop. Expect your arrival. Stop. Harold Mercer. Stop. 4 days. She had 4 days. Bad news. Eleanor spun. Marcus stood in the hallway, hat in hand, watching her. Just correspondence. From Copper Ridge. She couldn't lie to him. Yes. Marcus's expression didn't change, but something shifted in his eyes. He's expecting you. He is. And you're going. Eleanor opened her mouth to say yes, to say of course, to say she had no choice. Instead, she said nothing. Marcus nodded slowly, as if her silence had answered anyway. Breakfast ready. Almost. He walked past her toward the kitchen, close enough that his shoulder nearly brushed hers. Eleanor. She looked up. Whatever you decide, he said quietly. Thank you. For everything you've done for Lily. For... He stopped. Just thank you. He disappeared into the kitchen before she could respond. Eleanor pressed her hand against the telegram in her pocket. 4 days to choose between a promise and a prayer. She didn't know which one to break. Breakfast was strained. Marcus ate in silence. Lily chattered to fill the void, sensing tension she couldn't name. Eleanor moved mechanically, pouring coffee, clearing plates, avoiding Marcus's eyes. We should decorate more, Lily announced. For Christmas. The house needs more happy. The house is fine, Marcus said. It's sad. Houses can be sad, you know. Mrs. Patterson said ours has been sad for years. Mrs. Patterson talks too much. She says you need to stop hiding. Lily's voice carried no accusation, just matter-of-fact certainty. She says Mama would be angry if she knew you'd boarded up your heart. Marcus's fork clattered against his plate. That's enough. It's true. Lily. I'm blind, Papa, not stupid. Lily's chin lifted. I know you sleep in the barn some nights. I know you can't look at Mama's picture without leaving the room. I know you think if you don't feel anything, it won't hurt anymore. Silence crashed through the kitchen. Eleanor held her breath. How do you know all that? Marcus's voice came hoarse. Because I do the same thing. Lily's unseeing eyes somehow found her father's face. I pretend I can't remember Mama's voice. I tell myself it doesn't matter that I can't see her picture. I make myself not feel things because feeling hurts too much. Tears slid down Marcus's weathered cheeks. Rosebud. But Miss Eleanor says that's not living. She says grief doesn't go away when you bury it. It just grows roots underground and poisons everything. Lily reached across the table. I don't want to be poisoned anymore, Papa. I want to feel things again. Even the sad things. Marcus took his daughter's hand. His shoulders shook. I don't know how, he whispered. Neither do I. Lily squeezed tight. But maybe we can learn together. Eleanor slipped from the kitchen, giving them privacy. In the hallway, she pressed her back against the wall and let her own tears fall. An hour later, Silas found her in the pantry, reorganizing supplies she'd already organized twice. "You're avoiding them," he said. "I'm working." "You're hiding." He settled against the doorframe, arms crossed. "Can't say I blame you. That little girl's got a way of cracking people open." "She's remarkable." "She's her mother made over." Silas's voice softened. Rebecca had the same gift, could see straight through a person's defenses. Made Marcus crazy at first. He wasn't used to being known. Eleanor turned to face him. "Can I ask you something?" "Shoot." "Why didn't Marcus ever remarry? 4 years is a long time." Silas was quiet for a moment. Fear mostly. And guilt. Guilt? He thinks he killed her. Silas held up a hand at Eleanor's shock. "Not directly, but Rebecca wasn't supposed to have more children. Doctor warned them after Lily, said another pregnancy could kill her." Eleanor's stomach twisted. "But she got pregnant anyway. She wanted it. Marcus didn't lord he fought her on it. But Rebecca could be stubborn as a mule when she set her mind to something. She said she'd rather die giving life than live being careful." Silas's jaw tightened. "Got her wish, I suppose. That's not Marcus's fault." "Try telling him that." Silas pushed off the doorframe. He spent 4 years punishing himself for loving her enough to give in. Figures if he'd just been stronger, said no harder, she'd still be alive. "That's foolish, unfair, yeah." Silas met her eyes. "But grief doesn't play by rules, ma'am. It takes what it wants and leaves you to sort through the wreckage." He started to walk away, then stopped. "There's something else you should know." Eleanor's chest tightened. "What?" "I'm dying." The word hit like a physical blow. "What?" "Doc and Cheyenne told me 6 months ago. Something in my lungs. Said I'd have a year if I was lucky." Silas's voice stayed steady, matter of fact. "I wasn't planning on telling anyone, but does Marcus know?" "No, and I'd appreciate if you didn't tell him." "Silas? He's got enough weight on his shoulders." The old man's eyes were tired but clear. "I've lived a good life, ma'am. Fought in wars, loved good women, worked honest work. When my time comes, I'll go peaceful." "Why are you telling me?" "Because someone needs to know. And because—" He paused. "Because that boy in there is gonna need someone when I'm gone. Someone who sees him clear and loves him anyway." Eleanor's voice caught. "I'm leaving in 4 days. Are you—" She didn't answer. Silas smiled, sad and knowing. "That telegram in your pocket says one thing. Your heart says another. Might want to figure out which one you're going to listen to before it's too late." He walked away, leaving Eleanor alone with yet another secret she didn't know how to carry. Afternoon brought unexpected visitors. Eleanor heard the wagon before she saw it, wheels crunching through snow, voices carrying on cold air. She moved to the window. A woman in her 40s climbed down, followed by a man carrying a large basket. Behind them, more wagons approached. Marcus emerged from the barn, surprise written across his face. "Hattie, what's all this?" "The woman." Hattie marched up to him with determined steps. "Christmas Eve dinner. The whole town's coming." "I didn't invite—" "No, you didn't. That's the problem." Hattie's voice carried steel beneath warmth. 4 years, Marcus Holloway. 4 years you've shut yourself up in this house. Well, we're done waiting for an invitation." More wagons arrived. Families piled out, men carrying firewood, women bearing covered dishes, children racing toward the barn with excited shrieks. Marcus stood frozen, overwhelmed. Hattie turned to Eleanor in the doorway. "You must be the woman folks are talking about." Yes. Eleanor Sinclair." "Hattie Monroe. I own the only restaurant in Pine Hollow, which means I feed every soul for 50 miles. She pressed a warm dish into Eleanor's hands. "You've done something remarkable, Miss Sinclair." "I haven't done anything. You got Marcus Holloway to open his curtains." Hattie smiled. "That's more than anyone's managed in 4 years." The house filled with noise and warmth. Eleanor watched from the kitchen as neighbors she'd never met transformed the lonely space into something alive. Men gathered around the fireplace, swapping stories. Women bustled through the kitchen, coordinating dishes with practiced efficiency. Children chased each other through rooms that had known only silence. And in the center of it all, Lily. The girl moved through the crowd with confidence, greeting neighbors by voice, accepting hugs and compliments, laughing at jokes. For the first time since Eleanor had met her, Lily looked like an ordinary child, joyful, carefree, surrounded by community. "She's happy." Eleanor turned. Marcus stood beside her, watching his daughter. "She is." I'd forgotten what that looked like. His voice was rough. What it felt like. "She deserves this. She deserves a lot of things I haven't given her." Marcus finally looked at Eleanor. "Thank you." "For what?" "For reminding me that life doesn't stop just because you want it to." Before Eleanor could respond, a commotion at the door drew their attention. Vernon Kincaid. He stood in the entrance snow, dusting his expensive coat, surveying the gathering with barely concealed contempt. "Holloway." His voice cut through the noise. "A word." The room went quiet. Everyone knew Kincaid. Everyone knew what he represented. Marcus's jaw tightened. "This isn't the time." "I think it is." Kincaid stepped forward. "Unless you want me to discuss your financial situation in front of all your friends." Hattie moved toward them. "Vernon, it's Christmas Eve." "Stay out of this, Hattie." Kincaid's eyes never left Marcus. "This is between me and Holloway." Marcus handed his coffee cup to Eleanor. "Watch Lily." He walked toward Kincaid with the deliberate steps of a man preparing for battle. The two men disappeared onto the porch. Eleanor moved to the window, watching them face each other in the cold. "What's happening?" Lily appeared at her side, face anxious. "Your father's talking to Mr. Kincaid." "About the money?" "I think so." Lily's hand found Eleanor's. "Papa's going to lose the ranch, isn't he?" "I don't know, sweetheart." "Yes, you do." Lily's voice was quiet but certain. "I heard Silas talking to the horses last night. He said Papa's out of options. He said—" Her voice broke. "He said we might have to leave." Eleanor knelt down. "Listen to me. Whatever happens with the ranch, you're going to be okay. Your father loves you more than anything in this world." "But this is our home. Mama's buried here. If we leave—" "Your mother isn't in the ground, Lily. She's in your heart, in your memories, in the way you laugh and the songs you sing. No one can take that away. Not Kincaid. Not anyone." Lily threw her arms around Eleanor's neck. "I don't want you to leave." Eleanor held her tight, unable to speak. "I know you have to go to Copper Ridge. I know you made a promise." Lily pulled back, unseeing eyes somehow finding Eleanor's face. "But promises can change. People can change. Stay, Miss Eleanor. Please." "Lily." "I'll pray harder. I'll be good. I'll—" "Sweetheart, stop." Eleanor cupped Lily's face in her hands. "This isn't about how good you are. It's complicated." "No, it's not." Lily's voice held sudden fierceness. "Do you love Papa?" The question hung in the air. "Do you love me?" "Yes." The word came without thought. "Of course I love you." "Then stay." Simple. Absolute. A child's logic cutting through adult complications. "Love is supposed to be stronger than promises. Mama said so." The porch door slammed. Marcus strode through the gathering, face thunderous. "Eleanor, kitchen, now!" She followed him, heart pounding. He waited until they were alone, then turned on her. "Kincaid made me an offer." "What kind of offer?" "He'll forgive the debt. All $800. Extend my payments indefinitely." Marcus's hands clenched at his sides. "In exchange for one thing." Eleanor's blood chilled. "What thing?" "You." The word fell like a stone. "He wants—" She couldn't finish. He wants you to marry him instead of Harold Mercer." Marcus's voice shook with barely contained rage. "Says he's had his eye on you since he saw you through the window. Says a woman like you is worth more than any debt." "That's disgusting, I know." Marcus stepped closer. "I told him no. I told him if he ever spoke your name again, I'd kill him with my bare hands." "Marcus." He laughed, Eleanor. He laughed and said I had until New Year's Day to change my mind. His jaw worked. He said you'd come around eventually, that women always do when they realize what's best for them. Eleanor's stomach turned. "I would never." "I know." Marcus reached for her hands, stopped himself, let his arms fall. But he's not going to stop. Men like Kincaid don't stop until they get what they want or someone stops them. "What are we going to do?" "I don't know." His voice cracked. "I don't know how to save the ranch. I don't know how to protect Lily. I don't know how to—" "Marcus." He looked at her eyes raw with desperation. "One thing at a time," Eleanor said steadily. "We have until New Year's Day. That's 8 days. 8 days to find a solution." "There is no solution." "There's always a solution." She gripped his arms. "You taught yourself to build this ranch from nothing. You survived losing your wife. You raised a daughter alone. You are not a man who gives up." "I'm tired of fighting." "Then rest. For one night." Eleanor's voice softened. "It's Christmas Eve. Your house is full of people who care about you. Your daughter is laughing for the first time in years. Let yourself have this." Marcus stared at her for a long moment. "Stay." "I'm staying through Christmas." "No, I mean stay. Here, with us. Forever." The words tumbled out raw and desperate. "I know I have nothing to offer you. I know Copper Ridge is safer, simpler. But Eleanor—" He took her hands, and this time he didn't pull back. "I'm falling in love with you. I didn't want to. I tried not to. But you walked into my frozen life and set it on fire, and I don't want to go back to the cold." Eleanor couldn't breathe. "I know I'm broken," he continued. "I know I've got nothing but debt and grief, and a daughter who needs more than I can give. But if you stay, if you just give me a chance—" "Marcus, stop." Her voice shook. "I can't. I don't—" "You feel it too." His eyes searched hers. "I see it when you look at Lily. When you look at me. You're not indifferent, Eleanor. You're terrified." "Of course I'm terrified." The words broke free. "I came west to escape feeling anything. I chose a stranger because strangers are safe. They can't hurt you if you don't love them. And now I love your daughter. Now I—" She pulled her hands free. This wasn't supposed to happen. But it did. Silence stretched between them. From the other room, singing began. Silent Night. Lily's voice rose above the others, clear and sweet. Marcus flinched. "Rebecca's favorite," Eleanor said softly. "I know." His voice was barely audible. "I can hear it without falling apart now. Do you know why? Why? Because of you." He moved closer. "Because somewhere in the last 4 days you reminded me that honoring the dead doesn't mean joining them. Rebecca would have loved you, Eleanor. She would have wanted this, you, me, Lily, a family again. You don't know that. I do." His hand found her cheek. "She told me before she died. She made me promise to love again, to give Lily a mother. I've broken that promise for 4 years because I was too scared to try." His thumb traced her cheekbone. "I'm done being scared." Eleanor's heart hammered against her ribs. "I have a telegram in my pocket from a man expecting me in 4 days. I know. I made him a promise. I know. If I stay, if I choose this, I'm breaking my word." Marcus leaned closer. "If you go, you're breaking your heart, and mine, and Lily's." His lips hovered near hers. "Stay," he whispered. "Choose us. Choose me." Eleanor closed her eyes. In the other room, Silent Night swelled toward its final verse. And somewhere in the space between heartbeats, Eleanor made her choice. She kissed him, not gently, not carefully, but with all the desperation and hope and terror that had been building since the moment she'd stepped off that wrong train onto that frozen platform. Marcus pulled her close, one hand tangled in her hair, the other pressed against her back, holding her like she might disappear. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers. "Is that a yes? It's a maybe." But she was smiling. "Ask me again after we save your ranch. And if we can't, then ask me anyway." She pulled back enough to meet his eyes. "I didn't fall in love with the ranch, Marcus. I fell in love with the man who built it." His answering smile transformed his face, younger, brighter, full of hope she hadn't known he possessed. "I need to tell you something," Eleanor said. "What?" "Silas." She stopped. She'd promised. "What about Silas?" She couldn't do it, not now, not on Christmas Eve. "Silas told me you were worth fighting for. He was right." Marcus kissed her again, softer this time. "Merry Christmas, Eleanor." "Merry Christmas, Marcus." From the doorway, a small voice piped up. "Does this mean you're staying?" They turned to find Lily standing there, face radiant with hope. "How long have you been there?" Marcus asked. "Long enough." Lily grinned. "You kissed her, didn't you? I heard the quiet. That's what kissing sounds like. Quiet and heartbeats." Eleanor laughed, the sound foreign and wonderful. "Yes, sweetheart, I'm staying." Lily launched herself at them, small arms wrapping around both their waists. "I knew it. I prayed for it, and God listened, and I knew it." Marcus lifted his daughter into his arms, extending his other arm to draw Eleanor close. For one perfect moment, they stood there, a family forming from broken pieces, held together by hope and love, and the fierce determination of a little girl who refused to stop believing in miracles. Then Lily said, "We should tell everyone." "Tell everyone what?" Marcus asked. "That Miss Eleanor is going to be my new mama." Lily squirmed with excitement. "Can we tell them, please?" Eleanor's heart clenched. "Lily, we should wait." "Why?" "Because—" Eleanor looked at Marcus. "Because there are still things to figure out. Mr. Kincaid, the ranch. I need to write to Mr. Mercer." "But you're staying." "I'm staying." "Then the rest doesn't matter." Lily's logic was absolute. "Can we at least tell Silas?" Marcus set her down. "We can tell Silas." Lily grabbed Eleanor's hand and tugged her toward the gathering. "Come on, Miss Eleanor, I mean—" She stopped suddenly, shy. "What should I call you now?" Eleanor knelt down. "What do you want to call me?" Lily's hand found Eleanor's face, touching gently. "Can I call you Mama? Not to replace my first mama, but because you feel like a mama now. You feel like home." Eleanor's eyes burned. "I would be honored." Lily threw her arms around Eleanor's neck. "Mama," she whispered, trying out the word. "Mama, Mama, Mama." Eleanor held her close, this child who wasn't hers by blood, but was hers by every measure that mattered. "I love you, Lily Rose." "I love you too, Mama." From the doorway, Marcus watched them, tears streaming freely down his face. For the first time in 4 years, he looked alive. Christmas morning dawned white and silent. Eleanor woke to the weight of Lily curled against her side, small fingers tangled in Eleanor's nightgown. She lay still, afraid to breathe, afraid to shatter this fragile miracle. "You're awake," Lily murmured. "Your heartbeat changed." "How do you always know? Hearts tell the truth." Lily pressed closer. "Yours sounds happy. It didn't sound happy when you first came." Eleanor stroked the girl's hair. "I wasn't happy then." Are you happy now? Yes, sweetheart. I'm happy now. Lily smiled against Eleanor's shoulder. Me too. They lay together as dawn light crept across the room. For a few precious minutes, nothing existed but warmth and hope and the quiet rhythm of matched breathing. Then footsteps on the stairs. A knock at the door. Eleanor. Marcus's voice came through the wood. Something's wrong with the horses. Eleanor's stomach dropped. She slipped from bed, pulled on her dress, opened the door. Marcus stood in the hallway, face pale. 3 mares are sick, maybe 4. Silas thinks it's colic. Colic? Twisted gut. If we don't treat them fast. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. I need to be in the barn. Can you? I'll take care of Lily. Go. He squeezed her hand once hard, then disappeared down the stairs. Lily appeared at Eleanor's elbow. The horses are sick. Some of them. That's bad, isn't it? Papa needs those horses for the army. Eleanor knelt down. Your father is going to do everything he can. What if it's not enough? Then we'll figure something else out. Lily's face crumpled. This is my fault. What, Lily? No. I prayed for you to stay. I prayed so hard. Tears slid down the girl's cheeks. Maybe God gave me what I wanted and took something else away. Maybe that's how it works. Eleanor pulled her close. That's not how God works, sweetheart. You didn't cause this. But listen to me. Eleanor cupped Lily's face. Bad things happen. They happen whether we pray or don't pray, whether we're good or bad. Your prayers didn't hurt those horses. Your prayers brought me here. Those are 2 separate things. Lily sniffled. Promise. I promise. But even as she spoke, Eleanor felt the cold fingers of doubt. This family had lost so much already. How much more could they bear? The morning stretched into afternoon. Eleanor kept Lily occupied with baking and reading and stories, but the girl's attention kept drifting toward the barn. Can I go see Papa? Not right now, sweetheart. He needs to focus. I won't bother him. I just want to be close. I know, but sometimes the best way to help is to stay out of the way. Lily's jaw set stubbornly. Mama used to go to the barn when Papa needed help. She said families face things together. Eleanor's heart clenched. Your mama was right. But right now together means trusting your Papa to handle this while we handle things here. Like what? Like making sure he has hot food when he comes in. Like keeping the house warm. Like... Eleanor searched for something meaningful. Like praying. You said you're good at praying. Lily considered this. Okay, I'll pray for the horses. That's my girl. Lily retreated to the sitting room, settling beside the Christmas tree. Her small voice rose in earnest petition, and Eleanor had to turn away before the tears came. Silas appeared in the kitchen doorway. His face was gray, his breathing labored. How bad is it? Eleanor asked quietly. Bad. Lost 1 mare already. 2 more ain't looking good. Silas lowered himself into a chair with a grimace. Those were prime breeding stock, worth $200 each. Eleanor's math was quick and brutal. That's half what he owes Kincaid. More than half once you factor in the loss of future foals. Silas shook his head. It's like someone poisoned them. Eleanor went cold. Poisoned? Can't prove it, but colic doesn't usually hit multiple horses at once. Not like this. Kincaid. That's what I'm thinking. Silas's voice hardened. That snake was here 2 days ago, remember? Poking around the barn, asking questions about which horses were going to the army. But how would he? Doesn't matter how. What matters is, Marcus is going to lose everything, and that vulture's going to swoop in and take what's left. Silas coughed deep and rattling. I should be out there helping. You should be resting. Eleanor moved to his side. You're not well. I'm dying, ma'am. Different thing. His eyes met hers clear despite his exhaustion. Don't tell Marcus, not yet. Not. Let him focus on what he can save. Silas. Promise me. Eleanor hesitated, then nodded. I promise. Good. Silas pushed himself to his feet. I'm going back out. Even a dying man can hold a horse's head. He walked out before she could argue. Eleanor stood alone in the kitchen, surrounded by the smell of bread and the weight of secrets, wondering how much more this family could bear before it shattered. Marcus didn't come in until dark. He stood in the kitchen doorway, covered in sweat and worse exhaustion carved into every line of his face. 3 dead. His voice was hollow. 2 more probably won't make it through the night. Eleanor guided him to a chair, pressed hot coffee into his hands. I'm sorry. 5 horses, $1,000 gone. He laughed, but the sound held no humor. Kincaid's going to win. I can't stop him. We don't know it was Kincaid. Who else? Marcus's eyes blazed. He was here 2 days ago. He threatened me. Threatened you. And now my horses are dying. We can't prove anything. I don't need proof. He stood abruptly, chair scraping. I'm going to kill him. Marcus, he's taken everything, everything, and now he's taking the one thing I had left. His hands shook. I won't let him. I'll ride to Cheyenne tonight. You'll what, shoot him. Go to prison, leave Lily alone. The name stopped him cold. She's already lost her mother, Eleanor continued, voice steady despite her pounding heart. She can't lose her father too. What am I supposed to do? The words came raw, desperate. Watch him destroy us. Smile and hand over my home. You're supposed to fight, but smart, not stupid. Eleanor gripped his arms. Kincaid wants you to do something reckless. He's counting on it. Don't give him that satisfaction. Marcus stared at her, rage warring with reason. I hate this, he whispered. I know. I hate feeling helpless. I know. I love you. The words fell into silence. Eleanor's breath caught. He'd said it before in the heat of confession, but this was different. This was choice. I love you too, she said. He pulled her close, burying his face in her hair. His body shook with suppressed sobs. We're going to figure this out, Eleanor murmured. Together. I promise. How? I don't know yet, but I didn't come all this way to watch you give up. She held him until the shaking stopped, until his breathing steadied, until the rage cooled to something manageable. Papa. They turned to find Lily in the doorway, face pale. I heard you crying, she said quietly. Are the horses? Some of them died, Rosebud. Marcus crossed to her, knelt down. I'm sorry. Lily reached for his face, tracing the tear tracks with gentle fingers. It's okay to cry, Papa. Mama said tears are just love that can't stay inside anymore. Marcus pulled his daughter into his arms. When did you get so wise? I have a good teacher. Lily's hand found Eleanor behind her. 2 good teachers now. They stood together in the kitchen, the 3 of them, while outside the wind began to rise. The storm hit at midnight. Eleanor woke to the house-shaking wind screaming against walls, the sound of chaos unleashed. She grabbed her robe and ran to the hallway. Marcus was already there, pulling on boots. The horses. His face was grim. The barn door came loose. They're panicking. Go, I'll stay with Lily. He kissed her once hard, then disappeared into the white fury outside. Eleanor checked Lily's room. Empty. Her heart stopped. Lily. She searched the house room by room, calling the girl's name. Nothing. No answer. No small figure curled in corners or hiding under tables. The back door stood open, snow swirling through. No. No, no, no. Eleanor grabbed her coat and plunged into the storm. The cold hit like a physical blow. Wind tore at her hair, snow blinding her. She could barely see 3 feet ahead. Lily! Lily! Her voice disappeared into white nothing. Think, think. Where would a blind girl go in a blizzard? The grave. Rebecca's grave. Eleanor stumbled toward the small fenced area behind the barn. Her feet found the path by memory, by desperation, by prayer. Lily. A faint sound. A voice almost lost in the wind. Mama. Eleanor's heart lurched. She pushed forward, following the sound. Lily huddled against the wooden fence surrounding her mother's grave nightgown, soaked small body shaking violently. Lily! Oh God, Lily! Eleanor gathered the girl in her arms. Lily's skin was ice. I had to tell her. Lily's teeth chattered. I had to tell Mama about you. About staying. I thought... Don't talk. We need to get you inside. I can't feel my feet. Fear clawed at Eleanor's chest. I'm going to carry you. Hold on to me. She lifted Lily, the girl's weight almost nothing, and turned toward the house. The world had disappeared. White in every direction. No landmarks, no lights, nothing but snow and wind and cold. Which way? Eleanor shouted into the void. No answer came. She picked a direction and walked. 5 minutes. 10. Her arms burned. Her legs screamed. Lily had stopped shivering, which was worse. Talk to me, sweetheart. Stay awake. I'm tired, Mama. I know, but you have to stay awake. Tell me about your mother. Tell me about Rebecca. She sang. Lily's voice was fading. She sang Amazing Grace every morning? Keep talking. What else? She made the best biscuits. Better than Mrs. Patterson's. Don't tell her I said that. Eleanor's foot hit something solid. A step. The porch. Marcus, Marcus. The door flew open. Strong arms took Lily from her. Silas's weathered face appeared. Get inside, both of you. Eleanor stumbled through the door. The warmth hit her like a wave, painful and beautiful. Marcus knelt by the fire, stripping Lily's wet clothes, wrapping her in blankets. His hands shook. How long was she out there? I don't know. 20 minutes, maybe more. Her lips are blue. I know. They worked together, warming Lily's extremities, rubbing circulation back into frozen limbs. The girl drifted in and out of consciousness, mumbling about her mother, about songs about angels. Stay with us, Rosebud. Marcus's voice cracked. Stay with us. An hour passed. 2. Slowly, color returned to Lily's cheeks. Her breathing steadied. Her shivering resumed, which Silas said was good. She's fighting, the old man said. That's what matters. Marcus hadn't moved from his daughter's side. His face was stone, but his eyes held terror that went beyond words. I almost lost her. His voice was barely audible. But you didn't. Eleanor knelt beside him. She's going to be okay. Because of you. He finally looked at her. You saved her. If you hadn't found her... Don't think about that. I can't stop thinking about it. His hand found hers. I can't stop thinking about what I would have done if... Papa! Lily's eyes fluttered open, unfocused, tired, but alive. Hey, Rosebud. Marcus leaned close. How do you feel? Cold. A weak smile. But okay, Mama found me. She did. I told her. Lily's voice was dreamy, half asleep. I told real Mama about new Mama. She said she already knew. She said she sent her. Marcus's breath caught. I was dreaming, Lily continued. Or maybe not dreaming. Mama was there by her grave. She was glowing like snow in moonlight. She said, Lily yawned. She said to tell you it's okay, Papa. She said you've been sad long enough. She said it's time to live again. Tears streamed down Marcus's face. She said she loves us, both of us, all three of us now. Lily's eyes closed. I'm tired, Papa. Can I sleep? Yes, sweetheart. Sleep. Lily's breathing deepened within seconds. Eleanor and Marcus sat in silence, the fire crackling, the storm still raging outside. Do you believe her? Eleanor finally asked. About Rebecca. I don't know. Marcus wiped his face. I want to. I want to believe she's at peace, that she's watching over Lily, that she... His voice broke. That she forgives me. She never blamed you. I blamed myself. Still do. Then stop. Eleanor took his face in her hands. Stop carrying guilt that isn't yours. Stop punishing yourself for loving her. Stop. I don't know how. Then let me help you learn. She kissed him gently. He kissed her back, tasting of tears and hope. I meant what I said. He whispered against her lips. I love you. I know. I'm going to marry you. Is that a question or a statement? A promise. His eyes held hers. When this is over, when we've beaten Kincaid and saved the ranch, and if we can't save it, then I'll marry you anyway, in whatever shack or hovel or tent we end up in. He almost smiled. I didn't fall in love with the ranch, Eleanor. I fell in love with the woman who walked into my life and refused to let me stay frozen. Eleanor laughed, the sound surprising her. You're stealing my lines. You have good lines. Dawn came slowly, the storm finally dying to exhausted silence. Eleanor woke to find Lily sleeping peacefully, Marcus dozing in the chair beside her, Silas snoring by the fire. She slipped outside. The world had transformed. Snow buried everything pure and white and gleaming. The damage was extensive. Fences down barn door hanging loose, drifts piled higher than her head. But they were alive. All of them. Hoofbeats broke the silence. Eleanor turned to see a rider approaching through the snow. Her stomach dropped when she recognized the horse. Vernon Kincaid. He dismounted with deliberate slowness, surveying the wreckage with barely concealed satisfaction. Rough night. What do you want? Just checking on my investment. Kincaid smiled. Heard the storm hit hard out this way. Wanted to make sure the property wasn't too damaged. The property isn't yours yet. A technicality. He stepped closer. I heard about the horses. Tragic. 5 dead, was it? That's quite a loss. How did you know? News travels fast. His smile widened. Especially bad news. Eleanor's hands clenched. You did this. You poisoned them. Careful, Miss Sinclair. That's a serious accusation. You were here 2 days ago. You were in the barn. Admiring the stock. No crime in that. Kincaid's eyes traveled over her with insulting leisure. Speaking of admiring, have you reconsidered my offer? Go to hell. Such language from a lady, he tisked. I'm offering you a way out, Eleanor. May I call you Eleanor? Marry me and I'll forgive Holloway's debt. He keeps his ranch. His daughter keeps her home. Everyone wins. Everyone except me. You'd have a comfortable life, security, position. He reached toward her face. A husband who appreciates beauty when he sees it. Eleanor slapped his hand away. Don't touch me. Something ugly flickered in Kincaid's eyes. I'm trying to be civilized about this. Then stop. We both know there's nothing civilized about what you want. What I want is what I always get. His voice hardened. One way or another. Is there a problem here? Marcus's voice came from the porch. He stood in the doorway, rifle in hand, face carved from granite. Kincaid's composure never wavered. Just paying a friendly visit, Holloway, checking on your welfare after the storm. Get off my property. Still your property, for now. Kincaid remounted his horse. You have 6 days. 6 days to find $800 you don't have. After that, his eyes found Eleanor. I'll be back to collect what's mine. He rode away without looking back. Marcus descended the porch steps, rifle still ready. Did he hurt you? No, he just... Eleanor shuddered. He's not going to stop, is he? No. What are we going to do? Marcus stared after Kincaid's retreating figure. I don't know, but I'm done waiting for him to make the next move. What does that mean? It means I'm going to Cheyenne. Today. I'm going to talk to the army directly, see if I can move up the inspection. In this snow, the main roads will be clear by noon. I can make it. Marcus. I have to try Eleanor. His jaw set. I've been playing defense for too long. Time to go on offense. He strode back inside. Eleanor followed, heart heavy with fear. This wasn't over. It was barely beginning, and somewhere in the back of her mind a terrible certainty formed. Before this was finished, someone was going to get hurt. She just prayed it wouldn't be the people she'd come to love. The afternoon brought an unexpected visitor. Eleanor was washing dishes when she heard the wagon. She dried her hands and moved to the window. Hattie Monroe climbed down, basket in hand, face determined. I heard about the horses, she said when Eleanor opened the door. And the storm, and that snake Kincaid circling. News does travel fast. It's a small town. Hattie pushed inside. Where's Marcus? Gone to Cheyenne, trying to move up the army inspection. Good. He needs to fight. Hattie set her basket on the table. But fighting alone is foolish. That's why I'm here. Eleanor watched as Hattie unpacked food blankets, medical supplies. What is all this? Help. Hattie met her eyes. The town's been talking. We all know what Kincaid's trying to do. And we all know he's done it before. Driven out good families, bought their land for pennies, built his empire on other people's misery. There's nothing anyone can do. Marcus owes him money. How much? $800. Hattie nodded slowly. That's a lot for one family. But for a whole town? She smiled. That's just a little from everyone. Eleanor's breath caught. You're not suggesting... I'm not suggesting anything. I'm telling you. Hattie gripped Eleanor's hands. The folks in Pine Hollow take care of their own. We should have done this years ago, but Marcus is proud. Wouldn't take help. Wouldn't let anyone close. He's still proud. Then don't tell him where the money came from. Hattie's eyes sparkled. Tell him it fell from heaven. Tell him God answered his prayers. Tell him whatever you want. But we're not letting that vulture win. Eleanor's eyes burned. Why? You barely know me. You've known Marcus for years, but what, he shut us out. Hattie laughed. Honey, grief makes people do strange things. We understood. We waited. And now? She squeezed Eleanor's hands. Now you've brought him back to life. We can see it. Everyone can see it. That man walked around dead for 4 years, and then you showed up and suddenly he's fighting again. I didn't do anything. You did everything. Hattie's voice softened. You loved him when he couldn't love himself. You loved that little girl like she was your own. That's not nothing, Eleanor. That's everything. Lily appeared in the doorway, wrapped in blankets. Mrs. Monroe. Hello, sweet girl. Hattie crossed to her. How are you feeling? Better. Miss Eleanor. Lily caught herself. Mama found me in the snow. Hattie's eyebrows rose. She looked at Eleanor. Mama. Eleanor's cheeks flushed. We haven't... She's staying, Lily announced. She's going to marry Papa and be my new mama. God told me. Hattie's smile could have lit the whole house. Is that so? Nothing's official, Eleanor stammered. We haven't even... Oh, hush! Hattie pulled Eleanor into a fierce hug. I knew it the moment I saw you two looking at each other. Some things don't need announcements. When she pulled back, her eyes were wet. Welcome to the family, Eleanor Sinclair. Welcome to Pine Hollow. For the first time since arriving at the wrong station, Eleanor felt like she truly belonged. Marcus returned at nightfall. He came through the door looking exhausted but different somehow. Lighter. Well, Eleanor asked. The Army captain agreed to move up the inspection, December 30th instead of February. That's 2 days. I know. A smile tugged at his mouth. It's going to be close, but if the horses pass inspection, I'll have the money before Kincaid's deadline. Lily threw herself at him. Does that mean we get to stay? It means we have a chance, Rosebud. He lifted her up. A good chance. I prayed, Lily said. I prayed really hard. I know you did. He kissed her forehead. God listens to you, doesn't he? He listens to everyone. People just don't always hear him answer. Marcus looked at Eleanor over Lily's head. His eyes held something new. Hope. Real hope, unguarded and bright. How many horses do you have left? Eleanor asked. 25. The Army wants 30, but the captain said he'd take what we have if the quality's good. Is the quality good? The best in the territory. Pride crept into Marcus's voice. Rebecca used to say I loved those horses more than I loved her. She was wrong, but... He smiled sadly. She wasn't far wrong. Silas appeared in the doorway. Boss, you need to see something. Something in the old man's voice raised alarms. Marcus set Lily down. Stay here. Papa, stay. He followed Silas outside. Eleanor waited heart-pounding until Marcus returned. His face was gray. What is it? The north fence. His voice was flat. Cut. Someone cut it while we were dealing with the storm. Cut. Clean cuts. Human, not weather. His hands clenched. 6 horses got out. They're scattered across the mountain. Eleanor's stomach dropped. Kincaid. Has to be. He was here this morning. Could have done it then. Marcus slammed his fist against the wall. I don't have time to track 6 horses. The inspection is in 2 days. Then we'll help. Silas me, whoever else. You can't track horses in mountain snow. Neither can Silas. He ran a hand through his hair. I need at least 24 for the inspection. 24 healthy, well-presented horses. I've got 19. The math doesn't work. I know. His voice cracked. I know. Lily tugged Eleanor's sleeve. I have an idea. Not now, sweetheart. But Mama, Lily, please. What if the town helped? Lily's voice rose with urgency. Mrs. Monroe said the town takes care of its own. What if they helped find the horses? Marcus shook his head. Most folks in Pine Hollow are farmers, not horse trackers. But some aren't. What about Mr. Peters? He used to be a scout, and the Miller boys, they track deer all the time. Lily's hands gripped Eleanor's arm. What if everyone helped a little? Wouldn't that be enough? Silence fell. Marcus looked at Eleanor. Eleanor looked at Silas. Out of the mouths of babes, Silas muttered. It could work, Eleanor said slowly. Hattie was here today. She said the whole town wants to help. I can't ask. You're not asking. They're offering. Eleanor crossed to him, took his face in her hands. Let them help, Marcus. Let us help. You don't have to do this alone. He stared at her for a long moment. I don't know how to let people help, he finally admitted. Then learn. She smiled. You've learned everything else these past few days. What's one more thing? Marcus laughed, the sound rusty but real. He pulled her close. What did I do to deserve you? Got lucky, I guess. He kissed her right there in front of Lily and Silas. Lily giggled. I knew they'd kiss again. Hush you, Marcus said, but he was smiling. For one moment, surrounded by the people she loved, Eleanor let herself believe everything would be okay. She should have known better. Because somewhere in the mountains, 6 horses wandered through snow. Somewhere in Cheyenne, Vernon Kincaid plotted his next move. And somewhere between hope and disaster, a clock was ticking toward midnight. Dawn broke over Pine Hollow with the sound of hooves. Eleanor ran to the window. Her heart stuttered at the sight riders, dozens of them streaming up the road toward Holloway Ranch, men on horseback, women in wagons, the whole town mobilizing before sunrise. Hattie Monroe rode at the front, her face set with determination. Marcus emerged from the barn, frozen mid-stride. "What in God's name?" Hattie reined in beside him. "You need horses found. We're finding them." "I can't ask." "You didn't ask. We decided." She gestured to the crowd gathering behind her. "Peters and the Miller boys are heading to the North Ridge. Doc Hawkins is taking a group east. I'm leading the women west along the creek bed." Marcus's voice failed him. "Close your mouth, Holloway. You'll catch flies." Hattie smiled. "We'll have those horses back before nightfall. You just focus on getting them ready for inspection." She rode off without waiting for a response. Eleanor joined Marcus in the yard. "Still think you have to do everything alone?" He shook his head slowly. "I've been a fool." "Yes, but a lovable one." He pulled her close, burying his face in her hair. "I don't deserve this. Any of it." "Deserve has nothing to do with it. This is grace." Lily appeared on the porch, wrapped in blankets. "Did I hear horses?" "The whole town's here, Rosebud." Marcus's voice cracked. "They're helping us find the lost ones." Lily's face transformed. I told you God would answer." "You did." He crossed to her, knelt down. "You were right and I was wrong." "You weren't wrong, Papa. You were just scared." Lily touched his face. "But you're not scared anymore. I can hear it in your voice." Marcus pulled his daughter into his arms. Over her head, his eyes found Eleanor's. "No," he said softly. "I'm not scared anymore." The morning passed in organized chaos. Search parties reported in throughout the day, 2 horses found near the creek, another spotted on the North Ridge, tracking continuing. Eleanor worked alongside Silas, preparing the remaining horses for inspection. The old man moved slower than usual, stopping frequently to catch his breath. "You should rest," Eleanor said. "I'll rest when I'm dead." Silas grunted. "Which might be sooner than later at this rate." "Silas." "Don't." He held up a hand. "I know what I said, and I meant it, but there's time enough for dying after we save this ranch." They worked in silence for a while. Then Silas spoke again. "He's different, you know. Marcus, since you came." "Different how?" "Alive." Silas straightened, wincing. "I've worked this ranch 15 years. Watched that boy grow into a man, fall in love, lose everything that mattered. After Rebecca died, I figured we'd lost him too. Just a matter of time before the grief finished what the childbirth started. He's stronger than he knows. He is now, because of you." Silas met her eyes. "You gave him something to fight for again. Something beyond just surviving." "I didn't do anything special." "You stayed." Silas's voice roughened. "You saw his brokenness and stayed anyway. That's the most special thing a person can do." Hoofbeats interrupted them. Eleanor turned to see a rider approaching, not from the search parties, but from the south, from town, from the wrong direction. "Silas?" Her voice went cold. The old man followed her gaze. His jaw tightened. "Get Marcus." Eleanor ran. She found Marcus in the corral checking hooves. "Someone's coming, from town." He looked up, instantly alert. "Kincaid." "I don't know, but Silas thinks." Marcus was already moving, rifle in hand. They reached the yard as the rider dismounted. Not Kincaid, a young man in a clean suit, clutching a leather satchel. "Mr. Holloway, Marcus Holloway." "Who's asking?" "Benjamin Cross, sir. Attorney from Cheyenne." The young man pulled papers from his satchel. "I've been trying to reach you for 3 days. The telegraph lines were down." "What's this about Vernon Kincaid?" Cross's face was grim. "He's been arrested." Eleanor's breath stopped. "Arrested?" Marcus stepped forward. "For what?" "Fraud, extortion, poisoning livestock." Cross handed over the papers. It seems Mr. Kincaid has been running this scheme for years, lending money to struggling ranchers, then sabotaging them to ensure they couldn't repay. We found records. Dozens of families destroyed. How did you... Anonymous tip. Cross smiled slightly. Someone sent documented evidence to the federal marshal. Bank records, testimony from former employees, proof of the poisoning. Kincaid's lawyer is already negotiating a plea deal. Marcus stared at the papers. This means your debt is void. Kincaid's banking license has been revoked. All loans made under false pretenses are being dismissed. Cross extended his hand. You're free, Mr. Holloway. The ranch is yours, clear and clean. Marcus didn't move, didn't speak, didn't seem to breathe. Eleanor touched his arm. Marcus. He looked at her, eyes wide with disbelief. It's over. It's over. The papers fell from his hands. He grabbed Eleanor, lifting her off her feet, spinning her around. It's over. He was laughing, really laughing, the sound foreign and beautiful. Eleanor, it's over. She laughed with him, tears streaming, joy overwhelming. Lily burst from the house. What's happening? Why is everyone happy? Marcus set Eleanor down and scooped up his daughter. The bad man is gone, Rosebud. He can't hurt us anymore. Mr. Kincaid. He's going to prison. We get to keep our home. Lily threw her arms around his neck. I knew it. I knew God would fix it. Cross cleared his throat. There's one more thing. Marcus set Lily down, wiping his eyes. What? The anonymous source also included a contribution for the families Kincaid damaged. Cross pulled an envelope from his satchel. Your share is inside. Marcus opened it. His face went white. $2,000. His voice was barely audible. There's $2,000 in here. Restitution from Kincaid's seized assets. The marshal felt the victims deserved compensation. Cross touched his hat. I'll leave you to your celebration. Merry Christmas, Mr. Holloway. A bit late, but well-deserved. He mounted his horse and rode away. Marcus stood frozen, staring at the envelope. $2,000. He looked at Eleanor. That's enough to rebuild everything. The horses, the fences, the future. It's a miracle. Silas had appeared beside them, face slack with wonder. A genuine, honest-to-God miracle. Not a miracle. Lily's voice was calm, certain. An answer. I prayed for help. God sent it. Marcus pulled all three of them close. Lily, Eleanor, Silas, holding them in a fierce embrace. Thank you, he whispered. All of you. For not giving up on me. Never. Eleanor's voice caught. Not ever. They stood there as the sun climbed higher, wrapped in each other, wrapped in hope. And somewhere in the distance, a search party's horn sounded. Horses found, all of them. The Army inspection happened on December 30th as scheduled. Captain Morrison rode in with 2 lieutenants, professional and thorough. Eleanor watched from the porch as Marcus presented his horses, 25 animals, in prime condition coats, gleaming hooves trimmed, ready for service. Impressive stock, Holloway. Morrison circled the corral with an appraising eye. I'd heard you'd fallen on hard times. Hard times don't last forever, Captain. Apparently not. Morrison extended his hand. The Army will take all 25. Payment will be delivered within the week. They shook on it. Eleanor felt tears prick her eyes. After everything, the storm, the poisoning, the sabotage, they'd made it. Marcus crossed to her face, transformed by a smile she'd never seen before. Young. Unburdened. Free. We did it. You did it. No. He took her hands. We. All of us. The town, Silas, Lily, you. This isn't my victory, Eleanor. It's ours. She kissed him right there in front of the Army captain and everyone. Lily cheered from the porch. They're kissing again. Get used to it, Rosebud. Marcus grinned against Eleanor's lips. I plan to kiss this woman every day for the rest of my life. Promise? Promise." That evening, the town gathered at Holloway Ranch for a celebration nobody had planned, but everyone had expected. Hattie organized the food. Silas broke out the good whiskey. Children ran through rooms that had known only silence, their laughter filling spaces that had been empty too long. Eleanor moved through the crowd accepting congratulations, fielding questions, feeling more at home than she had anywhere in her life. "Miss Sinclair." She turned to find Doc Hawkins, the town physician, looking grave despite the festivities. "Can I speak with you privately?" Her stomach dropped. "Of course." They stepped into the hallway. Hawkins kept his voice low. "It's about Silas. He told you?" "He didn't have to. I've known for months." Hawkins's face was sad. "He's getting worse, Miss Sinclair. Faster than I expected. He might have weeks instead of months." Eleanor's hand found the wall for support. "Does Marcus know?" "Not yet. Silas made me promise." Hawkins hesitated. "But I think he needs to be told. Soon. Before it's too late to say goodbye properly." "I'll tell him." "Sva. You will." "Silas trusted me with this. The least I can do is make sure Marcus has time to prepare." Hawkins nodded slowly. "You're good for this family, Miss Sinclair. They needed someone like you." He walked away, leaving Eleanor alone with the weight of another secret. She found Marcus on the porch later watching the stars. "Hiding?" she asked. "Breathing?" He pulled her close. "It's a lot. All of it. Good, but a lot." "I know." They stood in comfortable silence. Eleanor wrestled with the words she needed to say. "Marcus, there's something you need to know." He tensed. "What is it?" "It's about Silas." "What about him?" Eleanor took a breath. "He's sick. Very sick. He's been hiding it from you, but—" "I know." She blinked. "You know, I've known for weeks." Marcus's voice was heavy. "I see how he breathes, how he moves, how he looks at Lily like he's memorizing her." He paused. "I've just been waiting for him to tell me himself." "Why didn't you say anything?" "Because he's got his pride. And because—" His voice cracked. "Because I wasn't ready to lose another person I love." Eleanor leaned into him. "He's not gone yet." "No, but he will be, soon." Marcus stared at the stars. "Funny thing about grief. You think you learn how to handle it, but every loss is different. Every goodbye tears something new. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the tearing is how we know it mattered." "When did you get so wise?" "I learned from a little girl who sees more than people with working eyes." Marcus laughed softly. "Lily. She's something special, isn't she?" "She's everything special. She loves you. I love her. And me." He turned to face her. "Do you love me?" Eleanor touched his face. "More than I ever thought possible. Enough to stay forever. I already told you I would." "I know, but I want to make it official." Marcus reached into his pocket. "This was Rebecca's. She'd want you to have it." "May." He held up a ring. Simple gold band worn smooth with years. "Marcus, marry me, Eleanor Sinclair. Not because you got off at the wrong station, not because you needed somewhere to go, but because you choose this, because you choose us." "I already chose." "Then let me hear you say it." Eleanor looked at the ring, at the man holding it, at the house behind them full of light and laughter. "Yes." Her voice was steady. "Yes, I'll marry you." He slid the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. "I love you," he said. "I love you too." He kissed her under the stars, and for the first time since stepping off that train, Eleanor felt completely, absolutely home. The door burst open behind them. "Papa, Mama, come quick!" Lily's voice was urgent. They ran inside. The crowd had gathered in the sitting room. At its center stood Silas, swaying slightly, face gray but eyes bright. "Sorry to interrupt," the old man said, "but there's something I need to say, while I still can." Marcus moved forward. "Silas, let me finish, boy. I don't have much wind left, and I plan to use it." The room fell silent. Silas looked around at the gathered faces, neighbors, friends, family. 15 years ago, a fool kid hired me to help build a ranch. I told him he'd fail. Told him the land was too hard, the winters too cold, the odds too long. He told me to go to hell, and hired me anyway. Quiet laughter rippled through the crowd. That kid proved me wrong. Built the best horse ranch in the territory, found the prettiest wife, had the smartest daughter. Silas's voice roughened. And then he lost it all. Lost his wife, his hope, his reason for living. His eyes found Marcus. "I watched you die, boy. Not all at once, that would have been merciful. But inch by inch, day by day, grief eating you alive. I didn't know how to help. None of us did." He turned to Eleanor. "Then she came. Wrong station, wrong day, wrong everything. But somehow exactly right." Silas smiled. "I've seen a lot in my years. Fought in wars, buried friends, lost more than I kept. But I never saw anything like what happened in this house over the past week. I saw a man come back from the dead. I saw a little girl find her mother. I saw a family build itself from broken pieces." Tears streamed down Eleanor's face. "I'm dying." Silas said it matter-of-factly. "Doc gives me weeks, maybe less. And I want you all to know I'm ready. I've had a good life, better than I deserved." He looked at Marcus, at Lily, at Eleanor. "But I'm leaving happy because I know you'll be okay. All of you. You've got each other now. You've got this." He gestured at the crowded room. "A whole town full of people who love you." His voice dropped. "Take care of my boy Eleanor. Take care of his daughter. And when I'm gone," he smiled, sad and peaceful, "when I'm gone, tell them stories about me. Make some up if you have to. I won't mind." He sat down heavily. Marcus crossed to him in 3 strides and wrapped the old man in a fierce embrace. "You're not going anywhere yet," Marcus said roughly. "I won't allow it. You don't get a say, boy. Never did." "I'm serious, Silas. I'm not ready." "You are." Silas pulled back, gripping Marcus's shoulders. "You've got her now. You've got Lily. You don't need me anymore. I'll always need you. Then I'll be watching, from wherever old cowboys go." Silas's eyes twinkled. "Probably somewhere with good whiskey and bad women." Lily pushed through the crowd. "Silas, are you really dying?" The old man knelt down, groaning with the effort. "Afraid so, little one, but not today and not tomorrow. I've got some time yet. Promise you'll stay for the wedding." Silas glanced at Eleanor's hand, at the ring on her finger. "Well now, seems I missed something." "Papa asked Mama to marry him. She said yes." Lily beamed. "You have to stay for the wedding. You have to." Silas looked at Marcus. "That true?" "It's true." "About damn time," Silas grinned. "All right, little one, I'll stay for the wedding, but you'd better make it quick. I've got an appointment I can't miss." Lily hugged him fiercely. "I love you, Silas." "Love you too, Rosebud." His voice caught. "Always have, always will." The new year arrived with bells and celebration. Eleanor stood on the porch of Holloway Ranch watching fireworks explode over Pine Hollow. Marcus's arm wrapped around her waist. Lily sat on Silas's lap, describing the colors she couldn't see, but somehow knew were there. "What's that one?" she asked as a boom echoed. "Red," Silas said. "Big and red, spreading out like a flower." "And that one? Gold, like your mama's hair." "New mama or old mama? Both." Silas smiled at Eleanor. "They've both got hair like sunshine." Marcus pulled Eleanor closer. "Happy New Year." "Happy New Year." She turned in his arms. "I have a gift for you." "Another one." She pulled an envelope from her pocket. "I wrote to Harold Mercer. Explained everything. He wrote back. Marcus tensed. What did he say? Read it. He opened the envelope with careful fingers. Eleanor watched his face as he read. Miss Sinclair. He read aloud. I received your letter with understanding rather than disappointment. The heart wants what it wants, and it seems yours has found its home elsewhere. I wish you every happiness with your Mr. Holloway and his daughter. Perhaps we were both destined for different paths. I've since met a widow in town who shares my love of quiet evenings and strong tea. Life, it seems, has a way of working out. With warm regards, Harold Mercer. Marcus looked up. He's not angry. He found someone else, someone better suited to him than I ever would have been. Eleanor touched his face. I was never meant for Copper Ridge, Marcus. I was always meant for here. For you. He kissed her softly. When do you want to get married? Silas asked us to make it quick. How quick? Eleanor smiled. How does next week sound? The wedding took place on January 7, 1878. The whole town came. Hattie Monroe provided the food. Doc Hawkins stood as witness. Silas, propped in a chair near the altar, refused to miss a moment. Lily walked Eleanor down the aisle, navigating by touch and trust, her small hand steady in Eleanor's. You look beautiful, Mama, she whispered as they reached the altar. I can tell by how Papa's breathing. Marcus stood waiting, tears already streaming. He didn't try to hide them. You came to the wrong station, he said as Eleanor took her place beside him. Best mistake I ever made. The preacher read the vows. They exchanged rings. When he pronounced them husband and wife, Marcus kissed Eleanor with all the passion and hope and love he'd kept buried for 4 years. The crowd cheered. Lily jumped up and down. Even Silas managed to stand and clap. I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Marcus Holloway, the preacher announced. Eleanor looked at her husband, at her daughter, at the community that had welcomed her as one of their own. She thought about the train she'd missed, the station where she'd landed, the series of accidents and choices that had led her to this moment. Not accidents, she realized. Providence. Every wrong turn had been a right one. Every closed door had opened another. Every moment of despair had carried the seeds of joy. Silas died 3 weeks later. He went peacefully in his sleep, a smile on his weathered face. Marcus found him in the morning, still warm, finally at rest. They buried him on the ranch near Rebecca's grave, where he could watch over the land he'd helped build. Marcus spoke at the service. His voice broke twice, but he finished. He called himself an old cowboy, said he'd lived too long and seen too much. But I knew the truth. Silas Crawford was the best man I ever knew. He taught me how to work, how to fight, how to love. Marcus looked at Eleanor. How to let go. Lily placed a wildflower on the grave. Bye, Silas. Say hi to Mama for me. Tell her I've got a new one now, and she's really nice. Spring came slowly to Wyoming. Eleanor stood on the porch watching Marcus work with the new foals. His movements were confident, joyful, unburdened. The man who'd greeted her at that frozen platform seemed like a stranger now. Lily sat beside her reading Braille with increasing fluency. Mama. Yes, sweetheart. Do you ever think about what would have happened if you'd made the right train? Eleanor considered the question. Sometimes. Do you think you would have been happy in Copper Ridge? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I would have found a different kind of contentment. She pulled Lily close. But I don't think I would have found this. You, your father, this family. So you're glad you got lost. I'm glad I got found. Lily smiled, that knowing smile that saw more than sight ever could. That's what Mama Rebecca said, in my dream after the storm. She said you weren't lost, you were found, and you found us. Eleanor kissed her forehead. Smart woman. She was the smartest, except for you. Lily paused. And maybe me. Definitely you. Marcus approached the porch, wiping his hands on his trousers. What are my girls talking about? Being found, Lily said. Ah. He sat beside Eleanor, taking her hand. Good topic. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the sun climb over the mountains they now called home. I love you, Marcus said. I love you too. Both of you, Lily added. I love both of you. And Silas, even though he's gone, and Mama Rebecca, and the horses, and... We get it, Rosebud. Marcus laughed. You've got a lot of love to give. There's always room for more. Lily reached for both their hands. That's what love does. It makes room. Eleanor looked at her husband, at her daughter, at the ranch spreading before them alive with promise. She thought about the woman she'd been a month ago. Desperate, scared, running toward a future she didn't want because she couldn't imagine one she did. That woman was gone now. In her place stood someone new. Someone who'd learned that the wrong road could lead to the right place. That broken things could be mended. That love, real love, was worth every risk. Happy? Marcus asked. More than I have words for. Good. He squeezed her hand. Because this is just the beginning. Eleanor smiled. I know. And it was. Years later, people in Pine Hollow would still tell the story. The mail-order bride who got off at the wrong station. The widower who'd forgotten how to live. The blind girl who saw more clearly than anyone. They'd tell it to their children and their children's children. How love found a way through grief and fear and impossible odds. How a family built itself from broken pieces. How faith and stubbornness and grace combined to create something beautiful. But Eleanor didn't need stories. She had the truth. She had Marcus, who loved her more with every passing year. She had Lily, who grew into a remarkable woman. She had the ranch prosperous and thriving. She had friends and community and belonging. She had everything she'd never dared to want. All because she'd stepped off a train at the wrong station on a cold December morning, and a blind girl had whispered to her father, "Papa, God answered us." Some prayers take years to understand. Some mistakes turn out to be miracles. And some wrong turns lead exactly where you were always meant to be. Eleanor Sinclair came west seeking survival. She found home. She found family. She found love. And she never looked back.